Okay, I'll start recording. Right. Okay. So today's agenda is general ledger accounting life cycle. We'll be seeing then we'll see how the journals are captured. Then we'll go through what are the components of journal entry, then how we post journals and reverse journal entries. And we'll see what data access set is and how the journals are approved. And finally, we'll see what Fusion Accounting Hub is. Okay, so let's start. Yeah. Okay, the general ledger accounting cycle. So basically, Oracle General Ledger provides predefined reports that cover, your account analysis, journals, your trial balance reports, your reconciliation reports, and chart of accounts. Right. So now, what is an accounting life cycle? So basically, the accounting cycle is a collective process of identifying, analyzing, and recording the accounting events of a company. So it is a standard 8-step process that begins when a transaction occurs and ends with its inclusion in the financial statements. Okay, so now let's look into the 8 steps of the accounting cycle, which ensures accurate capturing of the company's accounting transactions. So now here you first open the accounting period. Okay, then you enter the manual journal entries like your standard or the statistical journal entries. You basically import journals from your sub ledgers. You correct or you delete your journal entries which have been failed during the import process. Okay, the import process, no, when you can even import your journal entries and all that through your spreadsheets using FBDI and ADFDI technology. Yeah. So, okay. So in case if there is any errors which has happened, you can do all those corrections at this stage. Okay, after opening the period. Then if necessary, you can run the import process again. Then you define the journals that occur periodically and you allocate those journal formulas for transactions like the recurring journal entries that we did yesterday. All the corrections and the offsetting and everything, it happens from the previous accounting period. Okay. Then you generate recurring and allocation of journal batches. Fine. And sorry, yeah. Okay. Then you review the details of the unposted journal batches. Suppose if the batches have been missed out. Okay, then you edit all those unposted journals to change or correct the information. Then you post the journal batches manually or automatically. Okay, in this stage. Then you revalue, you review, you post and review, and then you revalue your foreign currency denominated balances. Now, if you remember, sorry. You remember during the foreign currency, when I was discussing about the currency in the chart of accounts, I explained you the foreign currencies and different types of foreign currencies where you have this revaluation, translation of foreign currency, conversion of foreign currency.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so that happens at this revalue or translation stage, wherein you revalue your foreign currency and adjust the balances in that accounting period. Okay, then also you translate the actual account balances. After doing all these steps, you finally consolidate the ledgers by defining or running a consolidation for the accounts, for all of the accounts, right? Then you produce financial reports. Okay, after correction of all consolidation of all the accounts, you review all that, you correct the balances, and you finally produce the financial reports and perform online inquiries to review current account balances. You close the current period and then the next period gets opened. Okay, so this is basically a vicious circle, which is a continuous process which happens every month. All right. So an important thing that one should keep in mind is that you can post journal entries only in an open accounting period. Okay, so we should remember that in mind.
Okay.
So during the posting process, the journal entries are validated, and if successful, the credit and debit amounts are updated to their respective account in the ledgers. Then another important thing is that you cannot change a journal entry once it is posted. All right. So a journal entry should be edited as needed before you post them. All right. So,
Okay.
but as you know, nobody is perfect. Suppose if an edit is needed after the entry is posted, either you reverse it, okay,
Okay.
and enter the journal again, or enter a new journal to correct the amounts, okay, where you have
Okay.
put the wrong one. Okay. So this
Okay.
accounting cycle is clear to you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's move on to the next slide, which is the journal capture. Okay. All right. So the ledger and sub-ledger transactions are captured in 4 ways. Okay, which is the entering journals manually, entering journals in spreadsheets, you import journals, and then you create journals automatically. Okay, so use of these methods varies depending on the application providing the data or the reason for the entry, such as the error correction or versus monthly entries, or the tools engine such as a calculation engine used in the automation of journal entries. So let's look into each of these ways. So the first way is entering journals manually. So here what you do is you enter journals manually that occur once or infrequently, such as journals wherein you have to correct your errors, in the journal entries, or you have to reclassify account balances which may be wrongly entered into a wrong account. Okay, those are usually
Okay.
done manually, in a real time scenario. So this method requires the most time, meaning it's a very time consuming process and is open to errors from human intervention, right? You might, end up, making some mistakes or anything like that. Then you have the second way of capturing journal, which is entering journals in spreadsheets. As I mentioned,
Okay.
I've discussed about the FBDI and ADFDI ways of importing, right? The data from these methods. You import, you enter manual and recurring journal entries to a spreadsheet interface. Okay, then you load the
Okay.
completed, you do all whatever necessary changes you want to do, you will do it in your spreadsheets, and then you import it to the system. So that is through the import interface, which is your FBDI and ADFDI. Okay, then you even can schedule or manually submit the journal import process to import the data into the ledger. Okay, so working in spreadsheets, basically what it does, it adds functionality such as use of macro and formulas. Like in spreadsheets, it's very easy for you to put formulas and aggregate the balances and all that. So this is a more faster way compared to the earlier method, the manual method of it. Okay.
Okay.
Then another way is importing journals. Okay, now here what we do is we use Oracle Fusion Subledger Accounting to submit your journal entries. Okay,
Okay.
from Subledger applications to the import interface, which prepares the data transfer into the ledger. Okay, so you can schedule or manually submit the journal import process to perform the import. Then you can verify that the data is transferred completely and accurately. Okay, so this method efficiently and it correctly populates the bulk data in the ledger. Okay, so then you moving on, you create journals automatically. Now in Oracle
Okay.
Fusion General Ledger, you can create journal entries automatically to automate the whole process and reduce both errors and data entry time. For example, say you define allocation rules and rule sets in the Oracle Fusion calculation manager, which we'll be showing it to you in the practical session where it is, the calculation manager, wherein you can define those rules for creating journals automatically. You can even define all your revaluation definitions to properly account for your unrealized gains and losses. No, well, during all your currency fluctuations, you might, either you gain. I mean, you have. Excess money coming in, or maybe you're losing on that due to the fluctuations, when you are transacting using foreign currencies. So all those goes into your unrealized gains and unrealized revenue, I'm sorry, losses. So that you can automatically define it, in the allocation, in the calculation manager, in the Fusion calculation manager. All right.
Okay.
So and this basically this process adjusts all the foreign currency denominated assets or liability to its current account value. So the adjustment is usually offset to the unrealized gain or loss account. Okay. So till here you've understood how the journal entries are captured.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Sir, you're fine, sir?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay, fine. We'll move to the next slide. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So let's see what are the components of journal entry. So see, without journal entries, your ledger isn't going to work. Okay, your ledger is basically what? It's all comprises of your journal entries, right? So journal entries are those handy tools that post accounting balances to the ledger for reporting and analysis. By the end of the day, you need the report, right? How your company is working, whether it's, on
Yes,
pace
ma'am.
or not. So basically, a journal entry is a record of your financial transaction. Okay, so a journal details all the financial transactions of a business, and that accounts which affects your accounts, the transaction, it affects the transactions of your accounts. Okay, so in that we have three components, which are the batch, the journals, and your lines. Now let's look into each of these components, what it means. So a batch basically is a collection of journals. Okay, so you can organize, journal entries with common attributes into batches. Like for example, you might group your journal entries by type or by date. Okay, so you can have multiple journals in one batch, or you can have a separate batch for each journal entry. So a batch can contain multiple journals, each of which can belong to a different ledger. I mean, basically, you're all, you're grouping these journal entries by date wise, or maybe by type wise, and you can even have a separate batch for each journal entry as well. Okay, but all of the ledgers within a batch must have the same calendar, period type, and chart of accounts. This is a prerequisite, okay, for a batch. So all journal entries in a batch must share the same period. Okay, so you can create a journal batch for any open or future enterable accounting period. So, but you can only post batches in open accounting periods. As is the way with the journal entry, you can post only in the open accounting periods. All right. So if you do not want to enter batch information, you can enter a journal directly. The general ledger will create a batch for the entry automatically. Okay, so using the source manual combined with a unique batch ID and the system date. Sir, I think did you understand this, Durai? Are you able to understand what batch is?
Yes, ma'am. One batch, you said one
Yeah,
batch
correct.
contains a lot of journals.
Yeah, on the basis of what are the prerequisites for that? It has to be in the same calendar with the same chart of
Then,
accounts and the
okay,
period type. Okay, so those are the
okay,
prerequisites. So you can basically, it's a group of your journal entries.
okay,
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 okay, fine. So you are clear with this, right? Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Then we have the next component, which is the journal. This is basically your, journal, which requires your ledger name, your journal name, your accounting date, your source, and your category and currency. So basically, it's your, journal ledger. The journal entries. To select the ledger from the choice list, your data access set must provide one of the following, which is a read and write access to the ledger, and read and write access to one or more balancing or management segment values. Okay, so these are the main things which are needed for a journal. Okay, so and the next is the lines, which includes your accounts and amounts. Okay, so each in the interface, sir, have we shown the journal entry to these people yet?
Yeah, I have shown to Durai.
So in the line, no, sir had posted a journal entry,
Yes,
single
ma'am.
journal
Yes.
entry. So those are the lines. So for each journal
Okay,
entry will be seen in those lines. Okay.
Okay.
So basically this requires accounts and amounts. So your total debits must equal your total credits of all the journal entries that you
Yes.
post.
Okay.
It's all shown in the line. Okay. Here, the
Okay.
line. Okay. All right. So you're clear with these journal entry
Yes,
components?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Let's move to the next slide, which is posting of journals. Okay, so basically journal posting is a process that updates balances in general ledger accounts. This is mainly to reflect an entity's business transactions, and it provides data for financial reporting, right? So there are two aspects to consider in a journal posting. One is functionality and the second is timing. So now what is functionality? See, posting is done from the journal pages by selecting journal entries and clicking the post button. Okay, so you automate
Okay.
your posting. You can even automate your posting process by scheduling and automating posting process. Okay, to periodically select and post batches. There is an option in the practical class. You will see that. Okay, there's an option to automatically post journals. So you can start
Okay.
posting from the journal creation spreadsheet in Oracle Fusion using the ADFDI. Okay,
Okay.
so then you can also start posting through import and post option, okay, which imports the data in spreadsheet and then runs the posting process in the system. So once you post a journal batch, okay, you cannot modify its contents. You cannot delete the posted journals, but you can copy or reverse them. As I mentioned previously also, you cannot, once you have posted a journal entry, you cannot, delete it. Okay.
Yes.
You
Okay.
cannot, so basically you can either, you can copy or reverse it, or you can put another entry to correct the amounts of it. All right. So
Okay.
that is basically functionality, which is one aspect of your journal posting. The second aspect is the timing. Now the journal entries can be posted to a current year or the prior accounting period or to an open prior fiscal year. But when you post to a prior period, the general ledger automatically updates the beginning balances of all your subsequent periods, even if the period is closed. Okay, so if you post a journal entry into a say prior year, that is a previous year, the retained earnings balance is adjusted for the effect on the income and expenses account. So basically, as I said, it's a continuous, it's a vicious circle. So even if you kind of, post it in your previous year, it automatically gets adjusted to your next, year. So what happens is when you finalize the activity for an accounting period, you close the period to prevent the entry of posting an additional journal entries. So here you need to be really careful while posting the journal entries, because what
Okay.
happens, it can subsequently, if you don't close the period, and if you don't want to, like suppose in the end of the financial year, if you don't close it,
Okay.
after your financial year, it subsequently goes and gets transferred. The balance will show it in your new accounting period. Okay, so especially when you're, finalizing or consolidating your your year-end reports, you have to close your reports for that financial year, or else it will again get goes forward to your subsequent financial year. All right.
Okay.
Okay, sir. In this point, do you need? Do you want to add anything, sir?
No, ma'am, you can continue.
Okay, fine, sir, fine. Okay, so there are basically two methods for posting journal batches, which are done manually from the manage journals or create journal pages. And then the second is automatically using criteria sets. So let's look into the first method, which is manual. So from the journal page, you click the post button during the creation process. So you use
Okay.
this method for manually created journals, and you use the manual posting after an error correction. Okay, so basically these are all just repeating whatever I've just mentioned in the previous thing. The manual and the automatic, the concepts are the same. Okay,
Okay.
so when you use the manual posting after an error correction, the initial post, if the initial posting fails, then you can, what you do is you do a manual correction there to post a journal entry. All right, so basically all your Oracle Fusion general ledger job roles and have predefined function security privileges to enter and post journals. So you have to assign those job roles, to the journal manager or the financial manager to, he should be having those privileges to enter and make corrections. And if needed, you can use the journal approval. That is journal approval. I'll be telling you in the upcoming slide, wherein you give, approvals. Basically you're setting rule set. So that you can either approve or disapprove. So basically you're giving authority to whether you post a journal or you don't want to approve it or whatever. So I'll explain about the journal approval in the upcoming slides. Okay.
Okay.
So that was it. And then in the automatically using criteria sets, spreadsheets creations, you can post the journals. Okay, so here what you can do is you can select options to automatically post journal entries when you're using a spreadsheet creation. Okay, so you can use, you can create an auto post criteria set in advance to automatically post journals. So automatic posting is very important when you're importing journals because it prevents editing of the journal import data. So that you can schedule the auto post program after the journal import process for an increased efficiency. So it is, whenever you import it, it's best to, opt for an auto post or auto posting of journals. Okay. So that is basically the two methods of posting journal batches. Okay.
Okay.
So you understood, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's move to the next slide, which is reverse of journal. Okay, so here again the same concept holds true. So basically, you like in the yesterday's example I was mentioning, in the encumbrance accounting, how the first in the commitment stage you make a journal entry, and you once from the requisition stage it moves to the purchase order.
Yes,
You have to
yes,
reverse the entry to offset it, right? Okay,
Yes.
so you remember that. So basically, your reversing journal entries are made at the beginning of an accounting period. Okay, so that to reverse or cancel out adjusting journals. You adjust your journal entries which are made at the previous accounting year. Okay, so like for example, say if the salary expense account is closed on April 30th, a reversing entry on May 1st creates a credit balance in the account, so that automatically gets created. That is in the automatic option. But here, in case if you have not selected the auto reversal, what you do is you manually do it for the next accounting period. Okay. So here, as I already explained what manual entries are, reversals. The journals that are eligible for reversal on the manage journals and edit journals page, both pages provide you an action to reverse a journal, manually. And on the edit journal page, you can select reverse from the batch actions menu to reverse a journal batch. These options and all you'll be able to see during the practical class. Okay, so then you'll get a better clarity on that. Okay, anyways, the next is the auto journal reversals. Okay, so here you can see that the reverse journals automatically gets reversed by running a process. Okay, so the ability to submit journal reversals automatically allows you to automate and streamline your journal reversal process. Say if the organization routinely generates and posts a large number of journal reversals as part of the month-end closing and opening procedures. By using the automatic reversal functionality, it saves time and reduces the entry errors, okay, for the organization. So there is a new ledger option called as launch auto reverse, which can be seen in the instance. Okay, once we show you how the reversal is done, you'll be able to see that launch auto reverse. So after open period, what you do is, see here the new period opens. Okay, and person actually enables the auto reversal. I mean, basically he enables a launch auto reverse. Okay, after the period is opened, then you can enable to have the journal reversals automatically generated when an accounting period is open for the ledger. So first you define the journal reversal criteria sets. Okay, here and then you define the journal criteria set to automatically reverse and optionally post journals. Now, after creating your journal reversal criteria set, then you assign them to the ledgers. Okay, so journal reversal criteria set can be shared and assigned to multiple journals, at the same time. So after the
Okay.
automatic reversal option is set, okay, to reverse and post journals automatically, the auto post process, posts all the reversed journals that were generated by the auto reserve process. Okay, in this section, it goes and reverses all your journal entries, which you would have, posted and enabled it. Right, then the general ledger automatically creates the auto reserve execution report. Okay, saying that when the auto reserve process completes successfully, so it generates a report, okay, that the
Okay.
journal entries have been reversed automatically. Okay, then the report prints the journal name and the reversal period for each journal that is successfully reversed, and whether the reversal journal is submitted for posting or not. So you will get in that auto reverse execution report. Then after this, what happens is the auto post execution report, okay, is created automatically when the whole auto post process gets finished. These reports help you to diagnose if there are any problems, which have occurred during the auto reversal, and it also verifies whether all journals were processed properly or not. Okay, so you get to know about all that in your auto post execution report. So basically you enable, after your new period is opened, you enable it, you send all the journals for auto reversal, then you get a report saying that your journals are processed, and you finally get an auto posting execution report saying that, okay, all journals are posted, are reversed automatically, and if there is an error, it will show you in this execution report. Okay, so this is your
Okay.
auto reversal of journals. All right, so any
Okay.
doubts here? Any doubts,
Um,
Durai? Yeah.
Ma'am, actually, in this process,
Uh,
what is the first stage, ma'am? Create or edit journal reversal criteria set,
so yeah, you can see, you can enable this. As I said, there's a launch auto reverse, first you need to enable it. You need to send those reversal journal entries either through your spreadsheets or whatever into the generate reversal. Okay, then those
Okay.
entries, once you enable it, automatically gets reversed for your new accounting period. As I gave an example of the salary, wherein
Okay.
on April 31st, what happens, you would have enabled it before itself when you're configuring the whole general ledger. Now we are configuring a new project, right, for the company. So you enable all these processes in the initial stage itself. So once your accounting period starts, it automatically, by the end of the period, okay, it gets reversed and gets posted in your next accounting period. Like for the salary
Okay.
account, it was a debit, and then it goes to your credit, because you have to pay salaries for that particular month again, right, for your next
Okay,
accounting
ma'am.
period. Okay,
Okay.
so this happens automatically. So you have to enable that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, and in between, if something has missed out, or if few entries are missed out, or it has not been processed properly, either you can manually do it, or else you
Okay.
can
Okay.
again, if there are more number of entries, what you do is you again do the correction in the spreadsheet, then you import it, and you again send it for auto reversal. So that is one
Okay.
option. If there are only a single one or two entries, you can do that manually as well.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
So let's move to the next slide. You're clear, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, so the next is the data access set. So let's see. Okay. Sorry, one second. Okay. So we know that the general ledger functions and data are secured through job roles, right? The data access
Okay.
sets and security roles. Okay, then each job role includes, direct privileges like grants, which provides access to application functions for their responsibilities. Unless and until you give an access to a job role, you can't do your responsibilities properly, right? So you need to define those access for each and every role. Okay. So that is what is done in this data access set. So for example, say the general accounting manager grants access to all the general ledger functions to his subordinate. Okay, so there you can give an access set. You can decide, as to whom you need, which level you need a certain level of, authority. A higher level needs more authority. A lower level needs less authority. Basically your access,
Okay.
data access. Okay, that you do it here. So here in the figure, as you can see, the data access set consists of access set type and access level. So access set type can, be set to full ledger. Okay, you can give access to the full ledger or your primary balancing segment value. Now the access level can be read only or read and write only. Okay, so the full ledger access is access set type provides access to the entire ledger. Okay, or the ledger set. Then this could be for read only access or both read and write access to the entire ledger. Then same thing goes with the primary balancing segment value access set type, wherein you can provide access to the primary balancing segment value for the whole ledger. Either it can be read only or can be read and write only. Okay, so let's see an example of how it works. So here is a US financial services ledger, wherein you can see here, right? This example shows a data access set that secures access by using primary balancing segment values, okay, that corresponds to the legal entities. Now these are the legal entities. Okay, so this is a data access set for the US financial service ledger. The data, the access type is primary ledger. Okay, so what happens is you can give read only access which has been assigned to primary balancing segment value of 131, which represents the insurance legal entity. So here you can see in this you have given data access only to view journals, to view balances, and to view and run reports. So that is the only access that you have given for this particular legal entity, which is your insurance legal entity. Okay. Whereas if you see here, one second, I think.
Okay.
1 second, no, 1 second. Setu sir is calling. No, I'll just pause the recording. All right. So we were talking about the legal entities of which is 101 and 102, which is the bank legal entity and the capital legal entity. So here you see these two legal entities have been given an access of read and write both. So wherein you can view, you can create, you can post journals, view and update balances, and view and run reports. All right, so this is basically the data access set. Okay, so depending on your company's decision, you can define the data access set at your ledger level or your primary balancing segment value level. Okay. So the actions are basically your read access level is read only or read and write only. Okay. Fine. So you got this. This is clear for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. We'll move to the next slide, which is approved journals. Okay, so we use the general ledger's journal approval feature to ensure that journal entries and batches are approved by appropriate management personnel before the journal can be posted to the account balances. So basically you're again giving an approval, for your personnel, basically the users, whether you can, again, the data access set rule also applies here, whether he's been given that approval to, do his job or not. Okay, the journal approval rules allow you to set and define policies which are then applied to your approval workflows. So you can configure journal approval rules in the BPM work list application. You've seen that business process management work list, right? The application wherein we use the setup and maintenance work area to, you would have seen that in the instance, right? We go to the setup and maintenance work area, and then you start, defining your enterprise structure and all that, right? So, okay, so you can give that approved journals in that setup and maintenance work area. Okay.
Okay.
You can build rules based upon an entered amount or say approval level, or even in the user stage. Like for example, let me show you here. See here, you're going to put a simple scenario wherein you're going to build rules saying that a user, wherein the amount is less than rupees 50,000, the user need not take any approval. Okay, so there's no approval required if the amount, like say for the purchase requisition itself. Okay, if the purchase requisition is within 50,000 rupees, he need not take any approval. He can directly
Okay.
send the purchase requisition for a to make it a purchase order. He need not send it for an approval. Okay, then you
Okay.
can put another condition saying that between rupees 50,000 and rupees 1 lakh, one level of approval is required. Maybe next year, your next level, which is your manager level. So when a purchase requisition is raised, to convert that purchase requisition to a purchase order, what you do is you put a condition saying that one level of approval is required. So you will send that approval for purchase requisition for approval to your manager. Then he will approve
Okay.
that into a PO. Okay. Then you put another condition. If it is greater than 1 lakh rupees, suppose your PR is greater than 1 lakh rupees, even your manager cannot approve that. Okay, you will again send it to your manager, and there would be a condition put. Okay, even the manager cannot approve it because it's above 1 lakh. His limit is only up till 1 lakh rupees. So if it goes beyond 1 lakh, even the manager will further send it to his general manager to
Okay.
get the purchase requisition approval. So basically, the approved journals is your you're defining your authorities to your employees.
Okay.
Okay, to do a certain transaction. So this is basically what is meant by approved journals. Okay, understood? You're clear with this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
well, we are left with less than 1 minute. We'll
Okay.
go to the accounting hub in the next class. Okay, you relog
Okay,
in
ma'am.
after 5 minutes. I'll tell you to, we just have one more thing to do. I think within 15-20 minutes we should be able to finish that. Okay,
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
all right. I will just I'll stop recording.
Okay.
Okay.